of what use would it be to me remembering you? Instead, I just wanted to make sure you remember me. You guys, I felt violated. I felt used. I felt abused. I felt mistreated. I felt disrespected. Hey guys, how you doing? How is it going? Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another video. If you're new here, you're welcome, and if you're returning, welcome back. So today I wanted to do a little chit chat and to tell you guys a little story about my experience when I went through Egypt. So in 2023 going into 2024, I was going to Nigeria for Dirty December because I feel like it's such a norm that I have to be in Nigeria for December. So I flew with Turkish Airlines, and usually my whole family would go, but it was just myself and my parents this time. I flew out with Turkish Airlines, and you know, the transiting was all good, all nice and posh. They had us in like a 5-star hotel. It was like a 15 hours flight altogether from Manchester Airport to Abuja. So you know, I spent a couple of weeks there, and on returning, I was meant to return with Turkish Airlines, but unfortunately I couldn't move my flight date, so I had to book a new flight for return. Lo and behold, I booked Egypt Air because it was the cheapest I could find at the time, and it was the only flight that I could find back to London because I needed to go back to London and not Manchester. So when it was time to leave, you know, Abuja, I got onto the flight, and it was obviously 2 flights because I had to transit through Egypt. On transiting, I first of all didn't like from the size of the plane to the noise on the plane to the loud ass kids on the plane to the food on the plane, everything just wasn't happening for me. I obviously didn't have a choice, so it was what it was. It needed to happen. So you know, we took off from Abuja and we landed in Egypt later that night. And I think my transit time was about 20 to 22 hours. So that wasn't the total flight time, that was a transit time. And as someone who enjoys traveling and being in new places, well, I don't enjoy traveling, but I don't mind traveling because I know I would end up in somewhere new. Anyway, as someone who likes who's always everywhere, I don't quite mind the long haul flights if I know that I can exit the airport and just have a little tour, go around, and then come back and board my flight. So I was happy to book a long haul flight because why not? What do I have to lose? Anyway, so I booked this flight, and upon landing in Egypt, we were placed in a hotel. So we had to queue up at Cairo airport. We got the I think it was like the instant visa that you get at the airport. So we got those, and then I made my way out. So whilst I was making my way out to, you know, the open area where I could get the taxis or get on the bus or whatever, first of all, there was no internet, there was no Wi-Fi at the airport. I just wanted to like connect to someone's hotspot so I can at least update my family to say I'd arrived to Cairo safely in one piece. Nobody at the airport was kind enough to let me use their Wi-Fi. Nobody wanted to hear anything I had to say. I was like literally like a homeless person walking onto random people just to say, what's up? Can you connect me to your hotspot? Everyone's looking at me like, no. Or if you try to walk up to them, these people just weren't friendly. Like, they would just walk away from you. Some of them looked me up and down and just made away from me. And what I noticed the most, or what I noticed was very like rampant, was perverted men. Like, there were so many perverted men, like looking you up and down, licking their lips at you. I have no idea why they were doing this. So I just thought, you guys are strange, but it's okay. So it's like the taxi men outside knew the transit hotels, so they were just saying the word La Passage, and the hotel that I was placed at was La Passage Resort Hotel. So I was just saying no to all of them because I was waiting for the specific bus, and I kid you not, I waited for that bus for about 80 minutes. I was waiting for at least an hour, 20 minutes. Anyway, the bus eventually came, and I got onto the bus and I made my way to the hotel. Right, on exiting the airport, you know, obviously people come up to you like and ask you if you would like to book a service, book a tour for the next day. Would you like to go and see the pyramids? Would you like to go and see the history of Egypt and everything? So I was just like, no. The reason why I was saying no at that point and at the spot was because I just wanted to see what the hotel was like, because I kid you not, it was a very long trip. I was tired, right? I just wanted to rest. So my plan was, if I got to the hotel and it was good and top notch and up to scratch, then I would lay in all day the next day and just get the bus back to the airport for my flight. But if it wasn't up to scratch and up to standard, then I wasn't going to stay. Then I'd book something and I'll make my way out, and I would, you know, have a tour of Cairo and everything. And lo and behold, we got to La Passage, and obviously we came out the bus, made our way into the hotel. The reception was very nice and clean. It was welcoming. And I got to the reception desk and I got my, I gave them the voucher and I got my food vouchers. I got the room key and everything. First of all, I sat down at reception waiting for about maybe another 45 minutes because there were so many people that had already come with a different bus, and just so many transitors just coming in and all that stuff. So waited for about 45 minutes, eventually got the key to a room, made my way to the room, and I was already so disappointed on making my way to the room. I was like, what's going on? The carpet stunk, the hallway stunk. The carpets were like this really old, ancient red carpet that's probably been there for about 60 years, God knows how long it'd been there. Anyway, I made my way to the room, and you guys, it was my worst it was my worst nightmare. At first I was like, they gotta be kidding me. I looked at the room key again. I just thought, hold on, this ain't my room, because I'd like to record videos of wherever I'm going and stuff. So I already had my camera out. The room just had the worst smell for starters. The smell welcomed me. When I opened the door, I rolled my suitcase in. I put my suitcase to the left side of the room, and I just thought, hold on, am I in the right room? I stepped back out to check, and yes, I was in the right room. The room number was correct. The key was, the key gave me access, so clearly it was the right room. I was trying to walk around to understand what was going on with the room. It had twin beds. The room was very old. The smell was bad. I went into the bathroom. There was mold in between the tiles. The bathtub was done for. The sink had leaks underneath it. The toilet was just a whole mess. It was clean, but it was dirty, if that makes any sense. You could tell that the cleaner had just cleaned, but it was still dirty. It was a mess. It was just tired. It doesn't need a refurb. It needs a whole knocking down and a rebuild. That's what it needed. I was so disappointed, and you guys, I kid you not, I couldn't even lay on the bed sheet. I just thought, right, blessing, get it together, put your bags down, go and have dinner, which I was already disgusted. I couldn't even, Anyway, I put my bags down. I was traveling with, it was just me traveling, but I met a really lovely family that I was kind of clinging on to. I hadn't really spoken to them on the flight, but I managed to speak to them when we got to the hotel, because I just kind of wanted to know if, they were experiencing the same thing that I was experiencing. So yeah, it was a whole nightmare. Anyway, I put my bags down and I went to have dinner, and I came back, and now it was time to shower and get ready to just get in bed. I kid you not, I couldn't do it. I couldn't shower. The curtains had mold. The curtains were old. The curtains stunk. They were just old and tired. The bathroom, the walls had mold all over it. I just couldn't do anything with it. I couldn't shower. I just looked around the room. There wasn't even a bottled water or anything, so I just went back to the reception and asked for some water, and I came back with the water, and I just used it to wash my face and use a flannel to have a wash as opposed to a shower. I couldn't get into the bath. I just couldn't. I can't put this into words. Anyway, now obviously I needed to rest, I needed to sleep. So what I did then, because I knew this was not a hotel that I could lay in, I went back to the reception and I said to someone, are there any tours you can book me in for tomorrow? And the receptionist said yeah, because when I was checking, he actually did offer to book me in for some tours, but I said no, just hold off on that first. Anyway, I had to go back to beg for him to book me into a tour. So he was like, yeah, sure. So this is a phone number. I'll book a tour and I'll give you the phone number. And actually, I remember taking the number of one of the tour guys that approached me at the airport. I took his number and I said, I'll let you know if I'll be going out tomorrow or if I'll be resting, because I literally explained to him that I would love to rest, but unless the room is not in good shape. So I ended up reaching out to him. He was like, sure, let's plan it. So we planned an outing. We planned the day. He was like, I will take you to see the pyramid. He said he would take me to the museum and everything. So I was ready for this. Rewind back to the night. It felt like there was something in the room with me. There was something jumping in the room with me. There wasn't anything physically, but I was having the worst anxiety of all time. I was couldn't sleep. I didn't even want the duvet, the covers touching my skin, but I knew I had to get changed, and I couldn't relax basically. The TV couldn't work, and I'm not the type of person who can sleep with the lights on, so I needed to turn off the lights, but I needed to leave a lamp on because I just kept feeling like something would crawl onto me or crawl into my nose or crawl into my mouth whilst I was sleeping. I just couldn't sleep. I kept jumpy, so I laid in one position, and every 20 minutes I'd jump awake. And secondly, there was nowhere to charge my phone because the plugs that they use were different from the ones that we use in the UK, so I didn't have any adapters, and the reception didn't have any adapters for me either. Everything was just going left. Anyway, I managed to overcome the night. The next day, you guessed right, I couldn't shower once again. Went out for breakfast and I took some water from the breakfast bar, from the kitchen, and I came back in and I just used it to brush my teeth and to wash my face and just give myself a clean up and get ready for the day. So whilst I was leaving the hotel, I saw like a different corner of the hotel where I could see the cleaners trolleys and everything just outside. I wanted to see what those rooms looked like, because honestly speaking, the way my room looked cannot be the way the entire hotel's room looked. But this other wing of the hotel had like nicer rooms, like executive rooms and everything. So I was trying to peep in. So I'm nosy and I would always ask. So I said to the cleaner, I saw the cleaner's trolley out there, and I said to the cleaner, do you mind if I like have a look? I just want to see the room. I just want to see how it looks. Like I don't have to go in or anything. I just want to see how the room looks. And she said, huh? I said, I just want to see that. Can I just see how the room looks? Then she looks at me and gave me like a very dirty look, and she said, she calls her head cleaner. The head cleaner said, oh yeah, if you want to see, you have to go to the reception. Why do I need to go to the reception just to see how the room that you're cleaning looks? Like, you're both in this room right now, your cleaning trolley is out here. I just want to peep it. I just want to see how the room looks. What if I was like okay, I can't even say what if I was anything, because clearly I wasn't an executive. The way I was dressed wasn't even presentable. So I just wanted to see how the room looked. They didn't let me see how the room looked. They just didn't let me. So anyway, I went to the reception and I tried to ask them if I could just see how the room looked. And they said, is it your room, or are you meant to be in that room? Well, clearly no. If I was meant to be in that room, I wouldn't be asking that. I just wanted to see it. They said, no, sorry, you have to have a booking before you can see the room. I just thought, screw you guys, whatever. Anyway, the tour guide that was taking me around came and, you know, spent the whole day with me. And the first place he took me to was the Egyptian pyramids. Now, you guys, I said I didn't want to see the pyramids. Like, I didn't care enough to go and like start looking at the pyramids or whatever. I wasn't bothered. But on getting there, he in fact, as a matter of fact, he said, when you get there, if you feel like you would like to see it, then sure. I wasn't financially ready for that because I didn't plan to like leave the hotel. I actually wanted to just rest indoors all day. We got to the pyramids and there was like let's say like a reception area. Like, it was barely a reception, but it's kind of where the people stay to like take money from tourists. So I went in there and he inquired, obviously, because he spoke both English and Arabic. I think that's what he was speaking. So I only spoke English. So he was trying to liaise for me with the man. Anyway, lo and behold, they charged me like quite a lot of money, but I remember that in the pounds equivalent, it was about £90 just to go and see the pyramids. £90. I said, this is ridiculous. First of all, I don't care enough for me to be paying £90. I thought that was way overpriced, and you could tell that they were waiting for tourists to come just so that they can take that amount of money from us to see these pyramids. So he said, you pay after, right? Is that okay? I said, sure, I'm happy to pay after. Now, I could have walked away then, but the man that brought me was kind of like pressuring me to see the pyramids. There's nothing else to see. You're here already. Why don't you just look at the pyramids? Why don't you go? Why don't you make some nice pictures? They kept saying make pictures. First of all, it's take pictures, not make. Anyway, why don't you make some nice pictures? I then thought, to an extent, I am a YOLO person at the end of the day, so let's see what's up. Let's see what this overhyped, you know, situation is. I want to see what's up. So anyway, he got someone to go with me, and I feel like this is where my entire experience got shaped to give me this opinion that I have of Egypt and Cairo. So the guy came and he was like, how are you? Looking very like tattered. I keep saying this, but looking very perverted as well. Just looking suspicious. So I said, I'm good. How are you? And he said, yeah, I'm fine. He smokes. So he was smoking whilst he was having a conversation with me. So he came with like the horse and the horse's carriage. I think that's what you call it. And he put me onto it and he was asking me questions. He said, have you done this before? I said, no, I haven't done this before. He said, are you excited for this? I said, yeah, I would like to see what this is about. He said, okay, this is what we're going to do. This is the map. I'll take you around here and around there. Speaking so much grammar, both English and Arabic, like a solid mixture of everything that I was barely understanding. But from what he was saying was that he was going to take me here and here, and he would take me on the horse and this and that. And I just said, just do what you want to do, because if I'm paying £90, I better enjoy this. And you guys, I feel disgusted already. And he just kept asking me, what type of person are you? And I just thought, I don't get what you mean. What am I supposed to say? Happy, loud, sad, crying, energetic? What do you want me to say? Anyway, he said, what type of person are you? I said, in what sense? And he said, are you crazy or are you crazy? First of all, what do you mean crazy? In fact, what do you even mean crazy? Because what are you trying to do? And I looked at him, when he asked the question the first time, I was like, what do you mean? And he said, are you crazy? I said, I'm adventurous, I'm spontaneous, I'm crazy, but it depends on your type of crazy. What do you? He goes, I'm crazy. And I thought, okay, maybe I'm not crazy, maybe I am crazy. I don't know what you mean by that, but I said, I am adventurous. Now, he probably thought I clocked onto what he was trying to ask me. I didn't think for any reason that he would be asking if I was crazy in a sexual way, but that's what he was trying to do. I just thought, okay, pay no attention to that, just ignore that for the minute. Anyway, he said, I don't like crazy people, I like crazy people. I don't do crazy people, I do crazy. I said, cool, well, let's just do what we're here to do, okay? No, don't stress me now. Anyway, he took me around to the place where you get on the horses, and he said, I'll give you a good horse, an active horse. Like, he was just saying so much. I'll give you an active horse. I said, okay, cool. Just don't make the horse run or anything, because I've never done horse riding before, and I don't think I've ever even sat on a horse before, even for pictures. That was like, okay, maybe I had in the past, but I can't remember. And he did ask, actually, have you been on a horse before? And I said, I don't think I have. If I have, it would have been when I was like a child, back in the day, but I don't think I've been on a horse, in recent times. So please just take it easy, like be careful. He said, sure, no problem. Anyway, this guy puts me on a horse, and we were walking nice and calmly, walking slowly, and we got round to the pyramids, and he was explaining once again that this is what he was going to do. He's going to take me here and take me there, and I'll get to a certain spot where he would bring me down from the horse, and he would take the pictures, like the illusion pictures, where you would put your finger at the top and it looks like you're touching the top of the pyramids, and he would take the pictures from the angles for you. Cool. I was fine with that, because once again, if I'm paying £90, the pictures better be worth it. First of all, disclaimer, I wasn't dressed appropriately, because once again, I didn't actually pack for transiting. Like, I actually packed to just get off the plane, sleep at the hotel, and get back on the plane the next day. Like, my colors were blocking. I just looked a mess, okay? I was tired, but I didn't care, because for me, I just thought, I'm probably never going to see these people again, so it's okay. Now he's taking me around. On the way back, I was just asking how, life is in Egypt and what they do, because it was a nice walk to taking the pictures. Bearing in mind, I said he smoked, so he was smoking. So nice walk to taking the pictures, and after taking the pictures, he gave me different poses to do and everything. Now, making our way back and out of the pyramid area, this guy brings up the fact that he asked me previously if I was crazy, and I remember telling him to dead that conversation, because I wasn't crazy based on what he was asking me. I just thought, I already told you I'm not crazy. Why are you still talking about this? Anyway, he said, okay, I want to show you something. I thought he was going to do like some stunt on his horse or something. No, he wasn't going to do none of that. So he starts saying something to the horse, and he was saying it repeatedly to the horse. And obviously the horse understands him, because it's been trained to. So the horse was doing what he was asking the horse to do. He was saying it in Arabic, and he was actually asking the horse to jump, to bounce, to jump, to bounce. And I specifically remember telling this guy I didn't want the horse to do any of that, because I'm scared for my life. I said, don't mess with me now. Anyway, yes, the horse was like jumping and bouncing, and this guy kept saying it. Now imagine this is a scared young lady, slowly transiting through Cairo, in the pyramids, trying to make her way just to see what's so special about this place, and this guy is directing the horse and asking the horse to do these things. Now he was saying a few words to the horse, and when he says it, the horse would do all of those actions at once. He would shout it and the horse would jump, he would shout and the horse would bounce. He kept doing it over and over again, and it took me, I'm a bit slow sometimes, because boy, why did it take me so long to clock what he was trying to do? I wasn't even dressed inappropriately. I think I was dressed quite modest, I'd say, but he was asking the horse to jump, to bounce, to jump, to bounce. Now the horse is jumping and doing everything he's doing, and I'm jumping and I'm bouncing and I'm jumping, and everything is like jumping, everything jiggled, my boobs were shaking, everything was like, even my belly fat was jiggling, everything was going up and down. He kept doing this consecutively, and I was wondering, now you can imagine, I'm scared. I'm trying to ask him to stop. Obviously in the process, I'm screaming, I am like shouting, but trying to keep it demure. Like I am like, I don't even want to repeat the sounds that I was making, but they weren't pleasant. And he kept doing it, and this went on for like, it went on in intervals for like a solid 20 minutes. He eventually told the horse to stop. And he looked at me and he smiled and he goes, you said you like crazy. I said, I didn't say I like your type of crazy, my nigga. I said I was adventurous, and I said crazy only because I want to do things like, yeah, okay, horse riding. I want to do things like skydiving. That's what I mean by crazy, not whatever you're trying to do here. Anyway, I wasn't impressed by that. I just wasn't happy about it. And you would think that would stop him, right? No, it didn't stop him. After that conversation was done, because after that conversation was done, guess what he did? He decided to make the horse pick up again. And this time around, it was a lot worse than the last time. So now he's an expert with horse riding and everything. Right? Now what he did this time was he gave me the tie back thing, like you have to hold on to. This time he wasn't helping me hold it, so I was on my own with this horse, and he like went a little further, maybe like this much of a distance, and he's shouting and directing the horse. And he then said to me, this is the word you're gonna say if you want the horse to stop. And it was something about yalla yalla or something like that. So I just thought, okay, cool, when he starts being stupid, I'm gonna shout that. Guys, first of all, why are you in front of me? I'm scared. You should be behind me. If the horse messes up, you can stop the horse, but you're in front of me. How are you gonna know what's going on? How are you gonna know what's up? Anyway, he tells me this word to say if I feel like the horse is doing too much. I know. And he's strolling off with his horse. And from where he was shouting to the horse that I was on at the back. You guys, this horse was dealing with me. This horse was dealing with me like it was going crazy. This horse was having too much fun. Like this horse was used to it. It was jumping, bouncing, galloping. It was swinging me left, right, center. Like the horse at some point would just like sort of maneuver itself and go around and come back and run towards him. Now it starts racing. He now starts screaming to the horse to race faster. He was like go faster. So I'm here screaming yalla yalla like he told me to scream, thinking the horse was gonna stop. I didn't realize I was also helping the horse go faster. Oh my god. Oh, that was traumatic. The horse just wasn't stopping, and we just kept going, and eventually I screamed really loud. I was like, stop. So then I pulled it really hard. I don't know if that was meant to stop the horse, but I think it kind of shook the horse a little bit. The guy then came to where we were. He goes, did you enjoy that? I thought, first of all, screw you. Secondly, no, I didn't enjoy that. I didn't appreciate what you just did. And you lied to me. You told me this word was to stop the horse and everything. You would think once again that would stop him, right? He did it for the third time, and he really made this horse deal with me. And this time around, I was like out of control. I even almost slipped off the horse, and I looked at his face and I made eye contact with him at one of the points where the horse was just going ham, going crazy. And the look on this guy's face was a look of satisfaction. Like he was like, okay, let's just say I'm behind, and he's like looking you up and down, like, you know, when a guy knows that he's had his way with you and he's satisfied. That's the look I was getting from this MF. So I just thought, you're trash. You're sick in the head. Like, is this what you do to people when they come here? Like, is this what you do to like solo travelers? Is this what you do to, even if it's like a group, is this how you treat people? Anyway, I was like speechless. I didn't know what else to say. The guy, when we got back to like the receptionist area, he took me to the cash point. He smoked about 20 cigarettes in that whole space of time. I think it was about an hour that I was out there in total, 20 minutes of which I was being abused. Anyway, you guys, he then says to me, when I was trying to get the cash out and everything, this guy goes, I want to make sure you remember me. What do you mean? Excuse me? What do you mean you want to make sure I remember you? Why do I need to remember you? Why do I need to? So was that why you did what you did back there? Because you want me to remember you? Why do I need to? What use would it be to me remembering you? Until I just wanted to make sure you remember me. You guys, I felt violated. I felt used. I felt abused. I felt mistreated. I felt disrespected. I was perplexed. I was distraught. I was displeased. I was disgusted. Like, I don't know what pleasure that entire experience would have given that guy. Or I just know, I could tell you for free right now that that guy does this to tourists. Like, he knew what he was doing. Honestly, I'm going to attach a picture. I don't know if he still works there, but if he does, avoid him. He might do the same thing to you, especially if you're traveling alone. Anyway, when we finished getting the cash out, I paid the receptionist and he took me to like a room at the back to look at more oud, to look at some ouds to buy, and I just wasn't with it no more. I was like, where's my tour guide? I want to get out here. And when the tour guide came and it was time to go, he said, this guy's not the tour guide, the horse guy. He said to me, where's your phone? I was like, what do you want? Why do you need my phone now? He goes, just bring your phone. And then he gave my phone to the tour guide and he stands next to me and he said, smile. This fool went to take a picture with me. And I smiled in the picture because at this point I was like, you know what? I need this picture. I need this picture for memories. Like, this ain't for no damn algorithm. I need this picture. So anyway, I smiled. I just took a picture with him because I just thought, I don't know what more you could do. Like, yes, an open place, people are here, but I don't know what more you could do. Anyway, he was like, are you gonna give me a tip? Because I would like a tip. I think you enjoyed your experience out there. We don't get paid for this. We only earn the tourist tips. I thought, what else have I got to lose? Y'all already took all the money I had on me. Secondly, you already took my dignity out there. So here, take a little tip. And he was so happy and pleased with the money I gave him. And I just walked into the car, and I said, never again in my life. Like, I don't like this place. That alone tied up Egypt for me. Like, I said, I don't like this place. And I said that to the tour guide. And the tour guide just kept asking, no, how was your experience? Did you like it? I said, I was just thinking, shut up. Don't ask me stupid questions right now. Then the tour guide takes me, to another place and another place, because that experience was in the morning. That was the first activity we did. Took me to like a mosque, and he took me to like a historical building, and I looked around, took me to the museum, and he left me to walk around. That was quite nice because I was seeing so many different mummies and things like that, which was okay. And then it was time to go home, and I couldn't be more thankful to God. I couldn't thank God more than I was thanking, because I was just like, I'm ready to go. I'm done with this place. Another thing that I noticed as well was like the tour guide too was a bit funny. He was being so kind. Bless his heart. He was being kind. Okay, he's doing the dirty job, and he was already explaining to me that in Egypt they don't get paid for the job that they do. They earn tips. I said, there's no way on earth you survive on people's tips. Come on now. Like, he said people are selfish in Egypt and they just want their money. They don't care and everything. I said, okay, cool. Can I pay with card? He was so adamant that no, I couldn't pay with card. I mean, I got your number from this airport. Surely you should have an office here. I can just go in and use my Monzo card to pay. Why are you saying no? He was like, no, you have to get cash out. And I was just thinking, not another damn exchange rate, currency charges. First of all, you were with me when I withdrew cash for the pyramids and horse riding and abusive situation that I was just in. Why didn't you say I had to pay you with cash? Why didn't you say something? He said he thought I already had cash on me. You don't just think and assume. You ask, you communicate. Anyway, I had to go and look for another cash point again and pay him. Now, I gave him this money and I had to give him extra simply because he was so adamant that I had to give him a tip. You guys. Anyway, my highlight, okay, despite how ridiculous it was and whatever, was literally that horse and pyramid situation. Like, I'm going to attach pictures in here just so you guys can see, first of all, how I looked, and secondly, the pictures weren't even that great. Like, I haven't been able to post those pictures or anything. First of all, I was hella fat because December just had me swollen. Secondly, the way I was dressed just wasn't presentable. Thirdly, I don't really want to be seeing those pictures anyway because it reminds me of a bad time. What's the need? Anywho, that's my Egypt experience, and till today I feel like if anybody takes me on holiday on like a surprise trip to Egypt, I'm gonna feel like you hate me. I feel like I still got PTSD from that whole situation that I honestly cannot see myself going back there. It's written off for me right now. If you've ever been to the pyramids, if you've been to Egypt, what do you think? Has that ever happened to you? Because I feel like sometimes when tourists or people that enjoy traveling go on holiday, we don't speak enough about the type of things that we deal with and the type of things that people say or do to us on there. But I feel like this was overdue. Like, I had to share this. Like, I relived those moments. Like, I feel like I need therapy to get that out of my head, because I think I trusted, I don't know why I trusted him. I just thought, okay, cool, you've promised that I'm going to be safe on the horse, and then you go and do that. Anywho, I really want to hear you guys' crazy holiday stories and your crazy holiday experiences as well. So if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment below, share it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.